Hello students, from past few classes we are studying metric spaces, and in past few classes we have studied some illustrative examples in which we have checked whether the given function D is a metric on the given space or not. Okay, now in next few examples the same thing we are again going to check. So the next are some examples on the metric spaces in which we are going to check whether the given function D is a metric on the given non-empty set or not. So we'll begin with the example number first. Example first. Show that the set R raised to n. Here R is the set of real numbers. Okay, show that the set R raised to n of all ordered n tuples with the function D defined by, here the function D is defined as D of x comma y. X and y are any two members from the set R raised to n. Okay, D of x comma y is equal to it is summation over I equal to 1 to n of xi minus yi bracket square and whole bracket raised to 1 by 2. 1 by 2 power means under root, and this is for every x which is equal to the 1n tuple, means it is the ordered set of having n members. Suppose the members are x1, x2 and so on up to xn, and y is equal to, it is again the ordered n tuple having members y1, y2 and continued up to the yn, and both these x and y belongs to the set R raised to n. Okay, so we have to show that this set R raised to n along with the function D is a metric space, means we have to show that D is a metric. So we have to show that D is a metric, and therefore this R raised to n along with D will be a metric space. Okay, so this we have to show. So we'll solve this example. Solution of this is, as we have discussed earlier, so to show that this is a metric space, we have to show that it satisfies 4 conditions, and out of the 4 conditions, first 3 conditions can be verified very easily. First 3 conditions can be verified orally, as they are very easy to check. So first of all, if we check the non-negativity, then we know that if xi and yi are real numbers, then the difference of real numbers is again a real number, and square of any real number is non-negative, and summation of n non-negative real numbers is again a non-negative, and its a positive square root is again non-negative. Therefore, the first condition, non-negativity, is satisfied here. Number second condition, we know that D of x comma y, which is given by this formula, so this will be equal to 0 if and only if each non-negative term is 0, and each non-negative term is 0 if and only if each xi is equal to corresponding yi, and if each xi is equal to corresponding yi, then clearly x will be equal to y. So second condition, coincidence, is also satisfied. Number third, D of xy is given by this formula, and it is clear that this is same as summation over I equal to 1 to n yi minus xi bracket square whole bracket raised to 1 by 2. Okay, because we know that xi minus yi bracket square is same as the yi minus xi bracket square. So which means that D of x comma y is equal to the D of y comma x, which means that the symmetry condition also holds here. So first 3 conditions we have checked orally, and all 3 are satisfied. Next, the main one condition that we have to check is the triangle inequality. So to prove that D is a metric, we have to show that D satisfies triangle inequality, and while proving the triangle inequality we need a result, and that result is Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. And first of all we'll prove that Cauchy-Schwarz inequality, and then using that Cauchy-Schwarz inequality we will prove the triangle inequality. Okay, so to prove that D is a metric on R raised to n, we have to prove the triangle inequality. Because the remaining three we have verified orally. Okay, we have to prove the triangle inequality, and to prove the triangle inequality we need Cauchy-Schwarz, C-A-U-C-H-Y, Cauchy-Schwarz, S-C-H-W-A-R-Z, Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. Okay, so therefore first of all we will prove the Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. So Cauchy-Schwarz inequality is, it is summation, modulus of summation over k equal to 1 to n, ak into bk, where ak and bk are some real numbers. Okay, so this is always less than equal to under root of, it is summation over k equal to 1 to n, ak square into summation over k equal to 1 to n, bk square. This is Cauchy-Schwarz inequality which we are going to use. Okay, well, let us denote this by the relation number 1, where A is nothing but it is the ordered n tuple A1, A2 up to AN, and B is equal to the B1, B2 up to the Bn. Both these are the members from R raised to n. Okay, so this we are going to prove first of all. This is the Cauchy-Schwarz inequality which is we have denoted by the relation number 1. This we are going to prove here. So first of all, so let us consider here, if bk is equal to 0, okay, and it is for 1 is less than equal to k is less than equal to n. So if bk is equal to 0, then definitely this result which we have denoted by the relation number 1 follows directly. Why? Because if bk is equal to 0 for all k lying between 1 and n, then this each and every term will become 0, and here also this one summation over k equal to 1 to n bk square, this will also become 0, and obviously to both the sides will get 0, and 0 is less than equal to 0. Therefore the relation denoted by 1 follows directly. Okay, so if bk is equal to 0, then relation 1 holds. Okay, so means nothing to prove, it satisfies directly. Next one, so therefore we will suppose that bk is not equal to 0, because if bk is equal to 0, then we have established it. So therefore we will suppose that bk is not equal to 0 for at least one value of k lying between 1 and n. Okay, so suppose that bk is not equal to 0 for some value of k lying between 1 and n, means 1 is less than equal to k is less than equal to n. Okay, so if bk is not equal to 0 for at least one value of k, then clearly summation over k equal to 1 to n bk square, this will be greater than 0. because for which value of k if bk is non-zero, and therefore square of non-zero real number is positive and summation of positive real numbers is positive. So therefore in this case we'll get summation bk square greater than 0. Now next one. Now if x is any real number, okay, if x is a real number, any real number, it may be positive, negative, whatsoever it may be, okay, so then we have summation over k equal to 1 to n, summation over k equal to 1 to n ak minus x into bk bracket square. Definitely this is greater than equal to 0, as this bracket is a real number and square of real number is non-negative, and summation of non-negative real numbers is again non-negative. So obviously this is greater than equal to 0. So this implies that we'll take this square, means we'll simplify this one, okay. So this implies that summation over k equal to 1 to n ak square, first term is the square of this, then is the minus, middle term is minus 2 times product of these two, so it is minus 2 times this one x, product of these two we have to take with the summation, but x is independent of k, therefore it can be kept outside the summation. So therefore this can be written as, middle term can be written as minus 2x into summation over k equal to 1 to n, summation over k equal to 1 to n ak into bk. As x is independent of k, therefore we have written this x outside the summation, then plus square of this term with the summation, which is summation over k equal to 1 to n bk square, and this is greater than equal to 0, okay. So we have expanded the left hand side, written in the simplified form. Next one. Now this is true for all the values of x, okay, as this is true, for all values of x which are real, okay, all real values of x, and also and again as summation over k equal to 1 to n bk square, this is greater than 0. Why this is greater than 0? Because just now we have here we have stated that summation over k equal to 1 to n bk square is greater than 0, okay. So it is this, it is due to this. So if in place of greater than equal to 0, if it is equal to 0, then this is a quadratic equation in x, okay, this is a quadratic equation in x. So therefore as this is greater than equal to 0 with this summation over k equal to 1 to n bk square greater than 0, therefore the discriminant of the quadratic in x will be non-positive, okay. So therefore the discriminant, this we know from the quadratic equations, therefore the discriminant of the quadratic in x, obviously quadratic equation in x will be non-positive, okay, is non-positive, that discriminant will be non-positive, and therefore we will get the b square minus 4ac will be less than equal to 0, is non-positive. In our regular form we can say that is b square minus 4ac, discriminant we denote by the b square minus 4ac. We generally use the small case letters, but here small a and b we have already used Therefore, to avoid the confusion, I have used the capital letters. Okay, discriminant means b square minus 4ac. So it is non-positive, means this is less than equal to 0. And discriminant is non-positive, which means that this can be further written as that is, therefore b square must be less than equal to 4ac. Okay, if this is the quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, then comparing this equation with this quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, here in this case we have the value of capital A as the summation over k equal to 1 to n small bk square. This is the value of capital A, as this is the coefficient of x square. Then the coefficient of x is minus 2 into summation over k equal to 1 to n ak bk. This is the value of capital B, as this is the coefficient of x, and the constant term capital C is nothing but it is summation over k equal to 1 to n ak square. Okay, so now using this, what we'll get? So use this one. This I have written just for your understanding purpose and for making it easy to compare. Okay, so therefore we'll get b square. B square means minus 2 into this summation, it's a square. So it is minus 2 into summation over k equal to 1 to n ak bk whole square. This is the capital B square. Okay, so it will be less than equal to 4 into AC. What is A and C? Put their values. A means summation over k equal to 1 to n. It is bk square. And C means it is summation over k equal to 1 to n ak square. So it is this. So simplify this one. So simplifying this one, what we'll get? So this gives us, that is, square of minus 2 is 4, and to the right side also we have the 4. This 4 will get cancelled with this 4, and we will be left with summation over k equal to 1 to n. It is ak into bk whole square. This is the left hand side, and it is less than equal to summation over k equal to 1 to n ak square into summation over k equal to 1 to n bk square. Okay, we have this. So to avoid the confusion, I am using this parenthesis here. Next one. Further, it can be written as, now if you observe, the left hand side is a square of a real number, which means that it is non-negative, and right hand side is again the product of two non-negative numbers, which is again non-negative. So as both the sides are non-negative, so we'll take the positive square root of both sides. So taking positive square root of both sides, we'll get modulus of summation over k equal to 1 to n ak into bk, and this is less than equal to summation over k equal to 1 to n ak square. It's a positive square root. Positive square root means 1 by 2 power into summation over k equal to 1 to n bk square. It's a 1 by 2 power. Okay, so in this way we have established this Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. This is the required Cauchy-Schwarz inequality, which are denoted by the relation number 1. So likewise we have established the Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. We are going to use this Cauchy-Schwarz inequality to prove the triangle inequality. Okay, so we'll prove the triangle inequality now. Let r raised to n be the, as it was given in the question, let r raised to n be the set of n tuples where r is the set of real numbers. R is the set of real numbers. Okay. Next one. Here D is a function from R raised to n cross R raised to n, means Cartesian product of R raised to n with itself into the set R, is defined by, here D is defined by, it is D of x comma y, which is equal to the summation over I equal to 1 to n xi minus yi bracket square whole bracket raised to 1 by 2. 1 by 2 power means under root. And this is for all x equal to x1, x2 continued up to xn. This is a n tuple, and y equal to y1, y2 up to yn. This is another n tuple, and these are any two members from R raised to n. Okay. So next one. So we'll prove the triangle inequality. Now to prove the triangle inequality, we have to consider three members from R raised to n. Okay. So let x equal to x1, x2 up to xn, y equal to y1, y2 up to yn, and z equal to z1, z2 up to zn be any three n tuples from R raised to n, means members from R raised to n. Okay. Then to prove the triangle inequality, what we have to show, then we have to prove, okay, then we have to prove that D of x comma y, this one, is less than equal to D of x comma z plus D of z comma y. This is our target. So for that purpose, we will begin with the taking square root of this right hand side. So we have D of x comma z plus D of z comma y whole square. We'll take square of this. Okay. So it is equal to, use the definition of D function of this example. So for by that definition, D of x comma z is nothing but, it is the summation over I equal to 1 to n xi minus zi bracket square and whole bracket raised to 1 by 2. Okay. This is D of x comma z by the definition. Then plus D of z comma y is nothing but, it is summation over I equal to 1 to n zi minus yi bracket square then whole bracket raised to 1 by 2. Okay. And that complete bracket raised to 2 means it's a square is there. Now we'll simplify this right hand side. So this is same as some square of the first term, then square of second term, and then 2 times the product of these two terms. So which is same as square of first term will be the summation over I equal to 1 to n xi minus zi bracket square. So first term is that outer bracket, this one raised to 1 by 2, and its square will be simply summation over I equal to 1 to n xi minus zi bracket square. Similarly, the square of the second term will be the summation over I equal to 1 to n zi minus yi bracket square, and the middle term, which is the product of these two terms into 2, will be, it is plus 2 times summation over I equal to 1 to n xi minus zi bracket square, and this bracket raised to 1 by 2 power into, in the product of this we have one more term, and it is summation over I equal to 1 to n, here it is xi minus zi minus yi bracket square outer bracket raised to 1 by 2. Okay, so like such we have. Next one, now this is equal to, we'll write down this in simpler form. So this is equal to summation over I equal to 1 to n xi minus zi bracket square plus summation over I equal to 1 to n zi minus yi bracket square, means first two terms we have kept as it is, then plus this middle term. Okay, we'll write down in the form of the square root. So it is plus 2 times under root of 1 by 2 power means under root. Okay, so it is plus 2 times under root of summation over I equal to 1 to n xi minus zi bracket square into summation over I equal to 1 to n zi minus yi bracket square. Okay, so it is this. Next one, now we'll use the Cauchy-Schwarz inequality here for this last term. Okay, by the Cauchy-Schwarz inequality which we proved just now, the last term will be greater than equal to summation over I equal to 1 to n xi minus zi into zi minus yi. Okay, so that we are going to use here for the last term. So therefore we will get, this will be greater than equal to, first two terms will remain as it is, which is summation over I equal to 1 to n xi minus zi bracket square plus summation over I equal to 1 to n zi minus yi bracket square, first two terms as it is, and for the last two term we are using the Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. So it is plus 2 times summation over I equal to 1 to n xi minus zi, okay, into zi minus yi. It is so. Next one, this is by the Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. By using Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. Okay. Now next one, if you observe the right hand side carefully, it is a perfect square. This is equal to the summation over I equal to 1 to n of, it is xi minus zi plus zi minus yi, and this square bracket, it's a square. Okay, so if you take the square of this, we will get this right hand side of the above relation. Next, now xi minus zi plus zi minus yi, so minus zi and plus zi will get cancelled, and therefore we will get, see this one simply as this is equal to summation over I equal to 1 to n xi minus yi bracket square. Okay, and this term which you obtained here, can be further written as in our regular form, as this is equal to the under root of summation over I equal to 1 to n xi minus yi bracket square, and this under root raised to 2 means it's a square. Okay, why we have written this in this form? Because our d function was defined in this form, and which is equal to, if you observe this with the d function, then this is nothing but this is a d of x comma y and whole square. Now have a look with the point from where we have started. Okay, so our left hand side was d of x comma z plus d of z comma y whole square, and we have shown that this is greater than equal to, so it is greater than equal to d of x comma y whole square. This we have shown. Okay, now the right hand side, which is the d of x comma y whole square, this is a non-negative quantity, and the left hand side is again a non-negative quantity. Okay, so as both the sides are non-negative, therefore by taking the positive square root of both sides, we will get. So what we will get? So this implies that we have obtained d of x comma z plus d of z comma y, it's a whole square. This one is greater than equal to, we have shown d of x comma y, it's a square. This we have shown. Now the same thing can be written our regular form as, so this implies that d of x comma y is less than equal to the d of x comma z plus d of z comma y, and this is our required triangle inequality. Okay, so therefore triangle inequality holds. So first three conditions we have checked orally, and fourth condition we have proved here. So combining all four, we conclude that hence D is a metric on R raised to n, and hence R raised to n comma D is a metric space. So in this way we have solved this first example. Okay, this we have proved here. Next one, now this metric space which we have proved just now, this one metric space, it has a special name. It is called as a Euclidean metric. Okay, so that also we'll mention here, Euclidean metric, that will mention as a remark. So remark, the metric D defined in this example. This example means the example which I have solved just now. In this example is called, it is called the Euclidean metric. Euclidean metric. Such type of these remarks are very important in case of the objective type of examination, means the MCQ type of examination. Okay, this is the first remark that we have mentioned. Okay, then we can generalize R raised to n to the infinite tuples. Means in place of n tuples, if we consider the infinite tuples of real numbers, okay, then what we'll get, these infinite tuples of real numbers is nothing but those are sequences of real numbers, okay, which are sequences, and therefore we can generalize. Okay, and we generalize this Euclidean metric. This means that which we have studied in this example, this Euclidean metric. So it can be generalized as, okay, Euclidean metric as the function. So it can be generalized as the function, and that function will be now d of sequence xn comma sequence yn. Now in place of x and y, sequences we will get as members of infinite n tuple of real numbers, and this is equal to the summation over n equal to 1 to infinity xn minus yn bracket square and whole bracket raised to 1 by 2. So like such, that d function can be generalized here. So then obviously this d function, which is defined in such a manner, and it will be well defined if the series summation over n equal to 1 to infinity xn minus yn square converges. Okay, so this will be well defined if summation over n equal to 1 to infinity xn minus yn bracket square, this series converges, and in that case only we can consider the metric. Okay, so for that purpose we will mention it here. So let L2, we are considering a set L2. Okay, let L2 be the set of all real sequences, all real sequences. By the real sequences we mean sequences of real numbers. Let L2 be the set of all real sequences, sequence xn, for which the corresponding series, which series? This series, summation over n equal to 1 to infinity xn square, this series converges. Okay, converges, and obviously this series converges means its summation is some finite number. Finite number means less than infinity. So this series converges can also be written as, that is summation over n equal to 1 to infinity xn square is less than infinity. Okay, so if this summation is less than infinity, then this series converges. So like such, we have mentioned 3 remarks. So in the today's class we have solved one example, and for that purpose we have used the Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. We'll stop here and we'll continue in the next class with some examples. Till then we'll stop here. Thank you.